You know that feeling on Christmas morning when your heart is practically beating out of its chest because you're just so excited? Yeah, each episode of Bungo Stray Dogs gave me that feeling. Bungo Stray Dogs is an action supernatural 12-episode anime produced by Studio Bones that follows a group of detectives as they take on the dirty jobs that the regular officials won't touch, all while battling their counterparts, known as the Port Mafia, who are trying to capture and kill them for their own reasons. This anime is a breath of fresh air within the multitude of shows that have the generic fire, ice, light, and dark magical powers, who are more often than not typical schoolgirls. This will keep you on the edge of your seat as opposed to those ones, as each event at any moment can literally take a turn for the worst. Not only does the show take place outside of high school for once, but the characters' magical powers stand on their own, with some being more combat specific and others more supportive in nature, leading to more interesting balanced fights where one character does not overpower the other, but rather tries to outwit each other. Our main protagonist, Nakajima Atsushi, has been thrown out of his orphanage because there are rumors of a man-eating tiger ravaging the streets, where we then find him at the edge of a river, practically starving to death, where then he suddenly meets our second protagonist, Osamu Dazai, in the middle of one of his many failed attempts at suicide. And one thing leads to another, and Atsushi finds himself sucked into the world of magical powers and mystery within the wacky misfit family that is the Armed Detective Agency. And man, is it wacky. The supporting characters that make up the agency are nothing short of unique from each other. We have the Tanazuki and Naomi brother-sister pair, the overly confident smart Ranpo with a sweet tooth, the always smiling down-to-earth Kenji who's a little too nice, the slightly creepy Dr. Yosano, and the strict idealist Kunikuda, who's partners with the suicide-obsessed Osamu Dazai, who's always looking for different ways to kill himself. There's one point where Dazai thinks that he ate poisonous mushrooms that he read in his suicide book that was supposedly supposed to kill him, but they just turned out to be regular shrooms, and you cannot make this stuff up. And then we have Atsushi, whose inner dialogue and animated faces just adds the comedy that this show has found a way to insert without interrupting any serious drama or action scenes. It's throughout these moments of bickering and playful banter that you really see their bonds with each other and grow to care about them and their well-being and their importance to someone else. Which, by the way, is constantly threatened by either their jobs that they take on or the Mafia, which was problematic because I actually cared about the Mafia members as well. This anime is doing something right if I also care about the well-being of the same people who are supposed to be the bad guys. The members of the Mafia, while having their own unique character dynamic, are probably more three-dimensional than our heroes. They have their own backgrounds and reasons for doing what they do, which is lightly touched upon in a rather conflicting episode towards the end, which had my feelings all over the place. One Mafia member stood out the most, Ryunosuke, who definitely has more layers to him than meets the eye, and who I'm the most interested in learning about, both as Atsushi's character foil, but with his previous relationship with Dazai, both of which are hinted at in the beautiful, calm-down ending song that differs from the very active and pumped opening theme. That's what this plot mainly consists of, with the characters as we follow them into the dangerous tasks of solving murder mysteries, bomb threats, and abduction cases to name a few. This is also how the story moves forward, as each episode acts as its own introduction to one of the detectives that make up the agency, allowing each one their share of screen time and time to shine, showcasing their own abilities as each one has a different purpose and is most effective in different situations. The characters on their own, while not as dynamic as I would have hoped, all have their own moment where you realize, whoa, yeah, I can see why you're an important part of the show. It never felt like the show took a pause just to shove someone they forgot to explain. Well, maybe, but we'll get to her later. The different character dynamics as Atsushi is paired with someone different on each episode is where I found myself investing in each character. When we get to learn what each member's ability does, it's always a satisfying experience as every situation builds suspense until they hit the crucial point to where they have to use their ability. They don't just blindly swing it around because their abilities have flaws in themselves. They have to meet certain conditions before it's even available to them to use, creating very interesting and fluid action scenes that had me anticipating what would happen next. Without spoiling anything, there were multiple instances in this anime where I thought something was going to turn out one way, then it did a complete 180 and went somewhere else. Or when I thought that someone was completely safe and then they pull a rug right from under my feet and they might not be so safe. While it may seem like all I'm doing is praising this anime, there are definitely some faults that don't take much from the overall story, but that I do hope are resolved. The first is Naomi. Naomi is Tanazuki's sister and is also a member of the agency. It just felt like she was thrown to the wayside and we never got to see what makes her so important and part of the agency, other than maybe following her brother because she has a large brother complex, which felt really out of place since we get to see why everyone else was important. I mean, she's not even on the cover. The boss, Fukuzawa, is another thing. As the head of the mysterious agency, I was constantly wondering what makes him so special. For the most part, he just comes in at random points that almost scare me because I forget that he even exists. Atsushi is another one. He's a likable character that really does grow in his own way, making his own decisions that make you want to root for him, but I almost didn't care at points because his feel bad for me past is constantly thrown into our face. Seeing the same flashbacks of his sad past does nothing but dilute its seriousness. If you can get past Atsushi's constant flashbacks, then he can definitely be an agreeable protagonist. The last complaint that I have with the show is that it's never explained how or why any of them even have magical abilities. From various points in the anime, we can tell that the common people know that they exist, but we don't know why. Hopefully all of these will be addressed in season 2, which looks like it's already been confirmed. And so, if you enjoy or want to see a new take on magical powers, which also happen to have the interesting background of being based on Japanese literary masters and some of their books, with Dazai and his ability No Longer Human, and you liked No Game No Life because it has some elements of that also, then you will probably like Bungo Stray Dogs as I did, and I am very excited for the next season. And so, with that, I've decided to give Bungo Stray Dogs Season 1 a platinum. So, if you liked this review, don't forget to like and comment and subscribe. It really helps and I'd love to know what you guys think. And if you're planning on watching it, or if you already have, feel free to tell me what you thought of the anime and if you think that it deserves a platinum in your eyes. Thank you for watching, and I'll be back with another review soon.